Oh, you already know. You already know what time it is. Professional Alex in the house. Hopefully there's room for improvement. We're gonna make this one quicker. If I told you there was a city in Egypt called Garbage City, would you believe me? First of all, would you find that interesting? I did. So I decided to investigate. So I'm going to take you with me. Join me as we venture through the innards of the famed Garbage City in Egypt. So my day began ceremoniously by being a bit late. I woke up, I was late to the bus.
I look to be late. I think I'm late.
Can you just exit this way too? I beeped. Standard operating procedure. After a kind of quick drive through the typical Cairo traffic, which I'm going to make my own separate video on that because that is a whole other story. My God. But after some driving, we arrived in Garbage City. The reason we went to Garbage City is because it's the only way you can get to this monastery called the Monastery of St Simone, which is this really sweet church that's carved into a cave. So the first question you might ask, why is it called Garbage City? And I did a little bit of research here, so bear with me. It rests within the larger kind of suburb or province called, and I might butcher this, Manshiat Nasser. And that is effectively where all of the Christians live, which holds about 60,000 people. So a decent sized city. The city was founded in 1969 when the governor of Cairo decided he wanted to take all of the people collecting trash and put them in one area. So he ushered all of them, said, hey guys, hey garbage people, get on up. We're going to a city. It's a beautiful city. You're going to love it. It's also called Garbage City. Now, as you may be able to surmise, the reason they call it Garbage City is because everyone living in there, their sole means of survival and existence is collecting and recycling trash. So 60,000 people live in this tiny little area collecting trash for all of Cairo. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Every single bit of space in that city is covered in trash. 20 million people's worth of trash is collected by these 60,000 people and condensed into this town. You drive down the streets are lined with trash. You pass a car, the car has trash in the trunk, in the back seat, on top of the car. The car is simply meant as a vessel for transporting trash. I kid you not, and I was dumbfounded. You look in the windows of every home, garbage piled up. And after doing some research when I got home, the reason is because they're so dedicated to trash that like families divide their homes up based on trash sorting. So for example, the kids would be in one room picking out plastic bottles. The women would be in the other room picking out cans. The older men would be in another room looking for precious metals. Every house in Garbage City is structured that way. Every house is full of trash. And I found that so startling. Like, it was so mind-blowing to me to see an entire city dedicated to one singular purpose. So that was pretty crazy. Now, like I said, the reason we went to Garbage City is it wasn't our destination. It was on the way to the Monastery of St Simone, which is another fascinating story. I should pause. This is what our guide told us, so take this with a grain of salt. So, this cave was made to take limestone out to build the pyramids, and after that, they just started storing trash in here. And this church was built 30 years ago, so around that time, they're like, hey, let's turn this, cave, this trash cave, into a church. Well, first they needed to get the trash out. And guess how long it took them? How much trash was in here? It took them 12 years to get all of the trash out of the cave so that they could build the church. 12 years of trash removal. Like, there must have been an ungodly amount of trash in here. And now it is this beautiful church. And they have services on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No, Sundays and Thursdays? Sundays and Thursdays. That would make more sense. You're kind of getting a glimpse as to how religious I am. The Thursday service, or they have some special service where it's like if you have some voodoo on you or some black magic on you, they'll remove that. That's what the guide was saying. 12 years of trash. How much trash is that? Oh my God. And the result is this beautiful church that seats up to 20,000 people. To give you a little backstory on St. Simone, he's an interesting fellow too. He was a tanner, so he worked with leather. And one day he was helping a woman, not his wife. Long story short, he accidentally looked at her leg, like he saw bare leg. Oh no! And he turned to someone and said, "It is better to lose an eye than to lose an entire body in hell." So he cut out his own eye, the eye that looked at the woman's leg. That's how you become a saint, basically. You're cutting out your own eye. How dedicated are you? So he became a saint. The church was like, all right, we should probably give this guy something because we're going to feel awful if he just cut his eye out for no reason. But it was beautiful, and there was all of these giant kind of figurines carved, etched in stone. And it had a very kind of epic feeling to it. The sun was setting. It was late in the afternoon, so it was starting to go down. It was a very tranquil place. Oddly enough, there was a zip line right behind it, which okay, really beautiful church. Hey, let's just throw in a zip line. You know, the kids love the zip lines. As we were leaving, mind you, let me set the stage. We are still in Garbage City, okay? Outside of this church, there were some stores. There was also a booth giving out tattoos. A tattoo booth, and a guy giving out tattoos, which I know what you're thinking. Getting a tattoo, very clean, very sterile. You shouldn't get a tattoo. What in God's name would prompt you to get a tattoo in a city named after trash, Garbage City? Well, his name is Dan. One of the guys in our trip decided he was going to get a tattoo. We're at Garbage City, at the Garbage City tattoo shop, where one of our friendship leaguers just got his tattoo. It was pretty special. For all of you wondering, the tattoo healed very quickly, no issues whatsoever. I guess he dodged a staph infection bullet.
Probably, actually, I think he's got gentler hands than anyone else I've ever had.
As we were going through Egypt, people always told me the relationship between Muslims and Christians is phenomenal. I couldn't help but question that. So Egypt is 10% Christian, 90% Muslim. To me, it seemed very fishy that on the one hand you say, hey, Christians and Muslims get along really well. But on the other hand, you're also saying, by the way, all of them, all Christians live in this area called Garbage City, and they all collect our trash. They pick up our trash. But they love doing it. And I know what you're thinking, like, okay, roll your eyes. Well, here's what's even crazier. Our guide at one point told us, he pulled us aside, he's like, hey guys, listen, I know this looks bad, but trust me, they are all super rich. He said to us, everyone you see collecting garbage, they're actually secretly very rich. They just like to live humbly, and so they, dress in tattered clothes, and they fill their houses with bags of garbage just to give off the impression that they're not rich, but they are actually really rich. This is not true. This is so far from the truth. I mean, it's a garbage city, and they're all Christian. So to me, something's got to give there. I learned, after doing more research, that the official term is called the Zabaleen, which literally translates to garbage people. That's their literal name, garbage people. They are people of the garbage. You can't make this up. You round all of them up, you put them in a city, you lazily call it, let's just call it Garbage City. Who cares? It's just Christians. We'll just throw them there. It's Garbage City. Well, what should we call them? We got to call them something. I don't know, call them garbage people. I mean, they live in Garbage City. They're garbage people. Oh yeah, we got a great relationship with Christians. We love them. Oh, they mean so much to us. If you want to go see them, go down to Garbage City. They're called garbage people, but they're actually super, super rich and prosperous, and they're loving life. So don't sweat it. Don't even sweat it, bro. Yeah. Also, I was startled to learn that Cairo doesn't officially have a like public garbage collection system. Like that's why Garbage City exists, is because they're like, well, we have 20 million people throwing stuff away and we don't like collect trash, so what do we do? And someone's like, well, why don't we just make the Christians do it? Like the Christians clearly got the short end of the stick there. It's like, well, who's gonna be our bankers? Who's gonna be our lawyers? Who's gonna be our doctors? Who's gonna be our garbage people? Oh, Christians. Yeah, for sure. That definitely has Christians written all over it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna be super rich. Yeah, garbage people. So that's Garbage City. And if you're interested, research it. There's a lot of more informed articles on it and about the actual, like I know I'm speaking kind of tongue-in-cheek here, but there are some pretty good articles that talk about the seriousness and like the true lack of sanitation and the health risks and the dangers, you know, that these people deal with on a daily basis. Oddly enough, Garbage City, not oddly enough, if you're wondering, it smelled like you'd imagine Garbage City to smell like. It is what the New York City subway smells like in the middle of July/August. That is what Garbage City smelled like. Okay, so thank you for joining me on this trek through Garbage City. Learned a lot, felt a lot of things. And I hope the people of Garbage City are allowed the opportunity to rename their city and themselves and choose whatever profession they see fit. I will see you on the next adventure, which will most likely be in Egypt, because that's where I was for a while. Okay. Also, like, again, Garbage City. Tattoo? Like, what? What were you thinking, Dan?